Hello and welcome back to the reading vlog. I am very sick. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I'm still feeling like really kind of tired and weak, but it's mostly just nasal congestion at this point, and I'm hoping that if I get up and pretend like everything's fine and normal, that it will be fine and normal. I just complained to my husband how, like, the other day, I feel like anytime I get sick, like, I can't be sick because there's still stuff that needs to be done. Like, I still have to cook dinner and that kind of thing. And so yesterday I laid around and did absolutely nothing. And I watched TikTok all day. And that was horrible. I was so bored. By the time, like, 4 o'clock rolled around, I was, like, ready to crawl out of my skin. Anyways, so here is the plan for today and for the weekend. I have not made any more progress really on The Shadow Rising. I still have it from the library. I'm at about 45% of the way through. It is incredibly boring. It started out good. It immediately got boring. Like after 30%, I was like, my God, could this be any more dumb? And I'm really sorry if you're a huge Wheel of Time fan, but so far I'm not enjoying the books. I want to finish it. I want to read this series, and I want to like the series because I have the books. I've been collecting them. I have, like, the first one right here. I got it at McKay's. I love these covers. Like, I've been collecting these books. Signed. It's a digital signature because he was dead. First edition, 2013. So, like, I've collected a bunch of these. I want to like this series. I want to read it. I mostly want to get to the Brandon Sanderson ones, but, you know. Anyways, I felt like at the beginning of this one, it was starting to get better. Like, there was more character development up top, but there are just some things that have, like, just really taken me out of it. Mainly, so I'm 3.5 books in, right? And Egwene, one of the main characters, and Rand, pretty much the main character, they all came from the same town. And, they've been sort of promised to each other for, like, marriage since they were little, since they were born. And this book, and throughout the book, since they've been separated, they've kind of discovered that they don't really like each other that way. And I feel like there could have been so much more done with that, character development wise, because, like, what's happened now, at about 30%, they were, like, getting ready to go their separate ways again. And Egwene was like, hey, Rand, I kind of don't like you like I thought I did. And Rand is like, okay, cool, because I don't really like you like I thought I did either. And that was, like, the end of that. There was so much opportunity there. There was so much opportunity for, like pining in a heartfelt confession about what it means to, like, for them to be friends and for them to be, like, to know, like, I don't know, there's just so much opportunity for, like, growth and development, and for the author to say something about, like, thinking you're in love with somebody but you're really just friends. Like, there was so much opportunity, and it was just none of it. And then in the second book, Rand meets Elaine, and Rand really likes Elaine, and Elaine really likes Rand. And in this book, Elaine was like, hey, Rand, I kind of like you. I kind of want to make out. And Rand was like, okay, great, let's do it. And they make out in corners. There was no pining. There was no, like, build up. It feels special, and that is not realistic either. It's incredibly frustrating. Especially because I like romantasy a lot. It just could have been great. Like, it could have had some tension, and there just was none. Anyways, so I'm going to try to finish it. We'll see. I still am working on The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I have started that. I'm about 20% of the way through that. What I'm thinking is I'm going to put my headphones on today and do some cleaning because the house is disgusting because 2 sick people have been living in it since Saturday. And I think that if I put on my headphones and, like, clean, I can get this book done. I could get it done today. I like the narrator. They're not very long. All of the Cruel Prince series, each book was, like, maybe 350 to 400 pages. Like, it doesn't take long, especially if you speed it up. So I'm hoping that I can finish The Cruel Prince. And then I was attempting to film this, and I found out that I got another hold from the library. I got a hold for A Reaper at the Gates by Saba Tahir. It's the third book in the An Ember in the Ashes series. So I like this series. I don't love it. But here is my problem, my big problem with this series. This is a first edition of the first book. I don't like this cover, but it is a first edition. Oh, actually, no, this doesn't say that it's a first edition. There is a 1 in the print number. Anyways, this is what the first cover looks like. This is what the second cover looks like. These are hideous, okay? They're not good covers. Well, I'll insert a picture of the third and fourth cover. They don't match. Not even a little bit. These don't match, but they sort of match. These don't match, not even a tiny bit. And it is incredibly frustrating. And if you're like me, and you like to collect things because they look pretty on shelves, things that don't match don't look pretty. My goal for this reading vlog, we did have plans for this weekend. We no longer have plans for this weekend. Had to cancel everything, partially because we were sick and partially because neither one of us really wanted to go do our plans for the weekend. Richie is going to play golf on Saturday, so I'll have a lot of time to myself this weekend. And my goal is to clean. I would like to finish The Stolen Heir. I would like to get some of The Shadow Rising worked on. I'd like to listen to some more. I'm thinking if I could get to 80%, like another 20%, that would be good because this audiobook is really long. And I would like to continue reading The Helm of Midnight, which I have not done any more reading on. I haven't read any more of that just because I've been sick. I've just been laying around. So I doubt I will get to A Reaper at the Gates this weekend. But if I can get to 60% on A Shadow Rising, finish The Stolen Heir, and get to 50% on The Helm of Midnight, I think that'll be pretty good. I think that'll be really good. So that's the goal. I'm going to clean. I've got a lot of laundry to do. Everything is a mess. So many books out downstairs. I filmed some content for TikTok on Monday when I was still feeling okay. And I got all of my books out. And now half of my books are out downstairs. There's just books everywhere. And I really need to put those away. I really need to take all the books off and dust them and everything. And pro tip, if you collect books like I do and you have some that are favorites, it's a really good idea to once a month pull them out, check on them, dust them, because bookworms and book mold and all of that stuff is very real and they can ruin your books. So it's good to just check them, make sure everything's clean, make sure everything is not wet. Because if you live in the South and it's humid, like I do, it can, things can get damaged very quickly and very easily. So it's time to pull everything down and dust it and do a check. So I'll be back when there is more to update you on. Bye! I'm back to update you on my reading progress. I am 90% of the way through The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. I like it. I'm not loving it. I don't feel the same way that I did about Cruel Prince, and I kind of think that if The Cruel Prince had had a little bit more of Oak and Ren in that, then it would have been easier for me to transition into this new series in the same world but with new characters. I'm just not feeling the same way that I felt about Carden and Jude as I am with Oak and Ren. I am a little bit but it's hard for me to reconcile I probably should have like taken a little break before I read this one, because I am like thinking of Oak as a child in my mind, and hearing about him as like an adult, sort of like, like older teenager is, I don't know. It's not, I don't feel like enough time has passed. And I realize that it's a book about like, I'm imagining Oak being like 8 years old. Not like, a teenager. So I like it, but I'm not loving it. Next book isn't out yet, so I won't be able to read that until it comes out next year. So there's that. I haven't read any more of The Shadow Rising or The Helm of Midnight. My husband and I don't have much going on this evening. We're going to run out to Best Buy really quick and that kind of thing. We have been watching The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, and it's directed by the same guy who did like Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Hill House, which we loved all of those. So I am super excited to be watching this one, and this one is really good. Like, it's really disconcerting. It's really creepy. And it's just really great. I like all of the episodes, I think, are named after Edgar Allan Poe poems. And so like that's been really interesting. And this is the I've read 2 books this year that were sort of Fall of the House of Usher. One was the T. Kingfisher, What Moves the Dead, which was like a retelling of the Fall of the House of Usher. So it's been a lot of Poe this year in the zeitgeist, I guess. Cast is great. The director, I'm sure, is great because he keeps inviting that same cast back and then keep making these like blockbuster Netflix shows. So we're really enjoying that. But we can only kind of do 1 episode a night because it's dark and icky. Tomorrow, I don't have any plans. I'm not doing anything. I'm hoping that I will like have the energy to just sort of sit down and read, because I would like to get some of the Helm of Midnight read. I spent a big chunk of the day getting a new phone. It looks exactly like my old phone. What's funny is I wanted a white one, and I had ordered a white one, but there was an issue, and so I just decided to cancel that order and go in and get one, and I ended up getting a black one. But I have this pink case, and so I'm hoping that makes it easier for me to see my phone, because I am constantly asking my husband if he's seen my phone, but it's because it had a black case, and it just blended in, and I could never find it. So anyways, probably not much reading is going to happen tonight. Hopefully tomorrow, I'll be able to do some more reading. So I will see you soon. Wow. So I look like a mess, and it is because I have been cleaning and working on some projects around the house, but I have a reading update for you guys. I finished The Stolen Heir. I liked it. I did not love it. I still think that I am going to get the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, because they still have it at my local store, just because I liked it enough to buy it. And I think I liked it enough to read the next one, but I just did not feel the same about Wren and Oak as I did about Cardan and Jude. And that was sort of like the main focus. I felt like there was better tension and like more build up between Cardan and Jude in the first book than there was between Wren and Oak. And I think that Holly Black like did a good job at like kind of manufacturing some tension, but it was a lot of it just wasn't the same to me. The other thing that I did not like is that I felt like a lot of the book was them traveling to go do the thing. And then we get to the last like 20% and suddenly they're there, they're doing the thing, things are happening, things are going wrong. And normally, like, in a fantasy book, like, that's kind of normal, where, like, you're reading, there's a lot of world building, a lot of plotting, a lot of this, that happening, and then, like, the last little bit of the book, especially with the first book in a series, the last little bit of the book is like, whoa, everything happens. And I felt like that was the case here, but it wasn't like the last you know, like 30%, it was like the last like 10 pages where things like go really wrong. And like, it felt too rushed with this one. That's what I'm getting at, is that normally I don't mind, but it felt like the buildup didn't match the payoff. And so that wasn't my favorite. I have read some more of The Shadow Rising. I'm at 50%. So if I can read 10% more, that will be my goal for the weekend, to get to 60%. Ideally, I would like to finish it. I just don't know that that's going to happen. I need to finish it soon because I am running out of time. And since I have been busy doing stuff around the house, I have not sat down and read any. Although I think that when I get done filming this, I'm going to put it in the computer and edit a little bit, and then I'm going to make myself a little coffee, and I might sit outside with the dogs because it's nice. So I will maybe read some then. Read some of the Helm of Midnight. On Thursday, when I was like thinking of what I was going to do for this reading vlog, I mentally told myself, Sarah, you're not buying any books, and you need to not spend any money, okay? You bought a new iPhone. You need to not spend any more money, okay? Now, I said that to myself. And then great stuff. Somebody in my area has terrible taste in books, and they keep giving their amazing books to McKay's, and I keep getting them. And I think I find something because I go and I'm looking for something. But this week it was really good. So let me show you what I got. We will start with probably the least exciting first. I got a copy of The Historian. This is a hardback, first edition. This book came out, I want to say in like 2005. I remember when I was younger, 2005. When I was younger, my mom had a copy of this, and I attempted to read it when I was in like high school. This would have been a couple years later. I would have been in high school, and I liked it. I just couldn't. It was a time period when like I was having to read stuff for school, and I liked reading when I was in elementary school because it was kind of like you pick what you read. You just read something, and then when I got into high school, it was like, here, you have to read the classics. And I hated the classics. There's only one classic book that I liked, and that's Pride and Prejudice, which every girl likes Jane Austen. So I tried to read this one, and I remember enjoying it, but I never finished it. So I saw this, and it was like in really good shape, hardback first edition of this book. And so I decided to purchase it for $2.50. So I'm going to be finishing this. What I remember is that this is a sort of dark academia-esque, I think, vampire book, which I love a dark academia vampire. So I am excited to read this, and I'm excited I got a pretty cool copy for $2.50. Second coolest thing that I found this Fairy Loot exclusive edition of Fire with Fire. Even has the little card with a note from the author. This is signed, and I just really like the cover. Like, that's what grabbed my attention, was super vibrant color cover. It's a YA. So yeah, I was excited to get this. It was $12. And I figure if I don't like it, I can resell it, because these are being resold for like $25-ish on like Pango and stuff. I got that. And then the coolest thing that I got, and the bummer part about this is that I tried to read this book over the summer and I did not like it. I think I'm going to try again because I found this. I found a first edition Fairy Loot edition of Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. It has all of the little cards, the character artwork, and the Fairy Loot bookmark that it came with. And it also has the signed book plate in it. So this makes the second signed Brandon Sanderson book that I have found at McKay's. It's in pretty good shape. The spine is like a little bit like kind of flattened. It's like almost concave, but other than that, it's in really great shape. Like, there's not, like, the dust jacket isn't crumpled on the corners like it usually is. So yeah, I was really excited to find this. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to reread it, just because I really like Brandon Sanderson, but this is the one I started reading this and I got about like 30% of the way in. And so the premise of this book is that Spensa, the main character, she is kind of like the daughter of sort of a trader in this like sci-fi world. When she was little, there were some aliens, I guess, that like attacked their base. Her dad presumably like flew away from the attack, like he ran, supposedly. Spensa knows that that's like, she's like positive that's not what happened, and so she wants to become flyer cadet guy like her dad was, and so she manages to get accepted to the school. What took me out of it, and this is a spoiler for this, she gets accepted to this, school, and she is presumably a teenager, and it's like their first or second day, and some aliens attack, and they don't have enough, cadets to fight. And so they call up the kids who have been there for, like, a day. I was like, no. Absolutely not. And also, I think this is, like, one of Brandon Sanderson's only, like, attempts at a YA, and it reads very young. Like... At one point, the main character is like, "You're a jerk," and then she's like, "No, you're a jerk." It's like that. And I was like, I don't know. But I found this signed copy, and it's a Fairy Loot exclusive, and it doesn't have like cool sprayed edges like the Illumicrate edition does, but it was pretty cool, and it's signed. And I am a fan of Brandon Sanderson's work. So I might give it another try, but I might not. And if I don't, I might decide to sell it. So who knows? Because I don't like to have a lot of books around that I don't read, that I'm not reading or I'm not planning on reading. And this one's going for a pretty good amount online. So anyways, I found this $24. Again, I got 3 books for less than the price of one. I think that was a pretty good deal, especially considering that 2 of them are Fairy Loot exclusive editions. And yeah, so I'm pretty tickled with myself. That is all I have to update on right now. And I am hopefully going to go read some more because my husband is away golfing and I have done all of the stuff that I was going to do around the house. So yeah, I will be back in a bit. It's now Tuesday morning. My glasses are extremely dirty, and I have to wrap this up because I've got to get this up, hopefully this afternoon. So here is the final update. I did it. I made it to the percentage that I wanted to make it to in The Shadow Rising. I am at 64% of the way through, and it's going. I have like 3 days left on my hold from the library for the audiobook for this, and I'm kind of getting worried that I might not finish it. I've had this for 2 weeks almost, and I am really struggling. I think that if I can get through this one, that I'm going to take a little break because I'm getting just really annoyed with this series. I know this was written in 1992, okay, and a new character was just introduced. I don't think she's an important character. I don't even know her name, but the way that Robert Jordan described her as being like hideously fat, that's almost verbatim. And then when I was listening last night, they were about to get attacked by some Trollocs, and Rand described this same character, or Robert Jordan described this same character. The line was something along the lines of, her eyes sparkled behind hideously fat rolls. I'm sorry, but even on like super fat people, your eyes don't really get fat rolls. Like that's just, it made me so angry. Like I had to stop listening. I was like, why would you say that? Like what is the purpose of describing somebody that way? And this also happened in book 3 where Robert Jordan continuously called an NPC just like the fat man, that kind of thing. And that is incredibly annoying to me. Like, there's just better ways to describe someone. I know that this was written in 1992. Heroin chic was all the rage. Okay, I know how the general public feels about fat people, but my God, it was just it was just really obnoxious. It was just obnoxious. Like, there's better ways. There's better ways. There's better things to say. And I continually, like, I'm just not attached to the characters. So I'm going to take a little break. I really want to get through these. I want the story to be good, but I just don't know. I just don't know. So I made it to 64% though. I did finish The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, and my husband bought me the special Barnes & Noble edition of this book. Anyways, so I did finish this. This was fine. It was good. It wasn't great. I did not like it as much as I liked the Cruel Prince series, but I am looking forward to reading this and trying and learning how they're going to get themselves out of this mess. But I am excited to read the next in this duology next year. I did manage to read a little bit more of The Helm of Midnight. It's just going to take me a long time because I just don't really have time to sit down and read right now. Audiobooks they're much easier for me to consume. So that's the reading vlog, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next reading vlog.